Hello ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, I wanted to talk about why it is I think this game shouldn't add 4-team endgame content. This was a question that I was asked under one of my previous posts I made for a video where I asked my viewers, give me an opinion or a topic that you want to hear my opinion on. And this was one of them. They asked, what are your thoughts on this game if they were to add another endgame content with 4 teams? And the reason I'm assuming this is becoming a bit of a discussion currently is because it's been recently leaked that in a 4.5 event, there's a very similar team up layout for attacking different nodes of an event to MOC. But instead of 2 or 3 teams, it's 4 teams. Now, my opinion on 4-team endgame content is that it should not be added to this game, right? Now, of course, in the ideal world where this endgame is handled optimally without all that much HP inflation, I would not have many complaints. If anything, all you're really doing is adding more content for the player to have and to have a better and more fun time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. My issue is that I know goddamn well who these devs are and how consistent they are with HP inflation going up in endgames. So, with this being said, I do not want it because 4 teams is way too expensive. The only reason that I've been kinda lenient on this game ever since they've been taking this shift into creating more endgames that require 3 teams, it is solely because of the consistent free 5-star releases that they have been giving us. If it weren't for that, I would 100% be hating on these changes. But with 4-team endgame content, that doesn't, that's too much in comparison to even the free 5 stars that we are consistently getting, in my opinion. Especially if the endgame has consistent HP inflation. We are talking here like up to 16 limited characters just to make a full E0S0 premium team across 4 different teams. This doesn't include Eidolons, and this doesn't include Lycones. If this endgame gets hit with HP inflation, and one of your teams or multiple of your teams start to struggle clearing at E0S0, and suddenly you need to upgrade multiple of them at the same time, what the fuck are you gonna do, right? Like, genuinely, what are you going to do? Because there's nothing you can do. Even with above average luck, you just would not be able to upgrade multiple teams at once at a quick pace and have all the optimal banners running at the exact same time. It is not a good thing if this game ever adds 4-team endgame content. It needs to be something different from the current endgame content that we have. Maybe it has to deal more so with interacting specific mechanics, playing in a certain way, understanding the enemy mechanics. It cannot be cycle based, because if it is, and it's just like every other endgame modes but just requires 4 teams, it's too fucking expensive. People talk about, oh, AA is a mode where only whales can tackle. However, at least there it is 3-team endgame. It is possible to make 2 modern teams and then have a 3rd team through the free limited 5 stars that you have been given. Gilgamesh makes it easier to invest into a Saber team. You have Archer, who's already been given for free twice, and Sparkle, who's been given for free, making it easy to invest into an Archer team and make him work for AA. But with 4-team endgame content, this completely changes and it becomes significantly more expensive. I absolutely would not like to see a 4-team endgame mode implemented at all, right? It's just too many. And this is one of the main reasons why I hate on Double Pawns Matrix in WUWA. I used to call WUWA the most free-to-play friendly gacha that I ever played for quite a long time, until they added Double Pawns Matrix. The amount of shit and investment that you need to full clear that endgame mode, all the different teams you need, is astronomical, unless you're like a top 1% player who fully understands how to do optimal quick swap with a multitude of teams. That is why I've put WUA further down on my free-to-play friendliness for clearing endgame content list, and it's kind of just staying there. If HSR were to implement this type of endgame mode for 4 teams, I'd probably do the exact same thing for HSR and put it lower and no longer praise it all that much for its free 5 stars. Because with 4 team endgame content, that does not justify the free 5 stars that have been given. 3 teams, sure, I can be lenient, I can let you get away with that. 4 teams is simply way too much with how much HP inflation this game consistently has across all its endgame modes. We're talking 10 to 15% consistently per patch, and sometimes there's even bigger increases from 20 to 30% occasionally once enough strong teams are starting to get finalized. For example, I'd bet you that near the end of this version, when Himiko has a finished team, the Fua team is finished, Elation teams are nearly finished, Nihilux is out, and the only patch left is the collab with ZZZ, they are probably going to have another noticeable spike, not small spike, noticeable spike in across all endgame mode HP inflation, which is going to really hurt. So implementing a 4th endgame mode that also has those issues, but with 4 teams, is just no in my opinion. I would not like to see this game implement another endgame with 4 teams in the fucking slightest, unless in some ideal world the HP inflation is either very low or there is something to accommodate this, right? For example, let's say that they give you trial characters, right? So you get trial characters, and it is possible to clear this endgame content with some trial characters. Or if you do have older characters who usually aren't all that good, older characters may receive specific buffs against this endgame mode. This is actually similar to something WUA does in their Double Pawns Matrix mode, where they are fully aware that the team investment required for Double Pawns Matrix is quite egregious, so they alleviate it slightly by buffing some older 1.x and early 2.x characters specifically in that endgame mode to make sure that their damage is more up to snuff, and it makes it easier because you can finally use your older characters and have them work against the endgame. This is the only way I'd ever actually be okay to some extent with a 4-team endgame content being added. But knowing HSR, I am incredibly skeptical, to say the least. I know some people are going to disagree with me in my comments because I believe I've made a video criticizing anomaly arbitration before, and I had a lot of people in my comments saying stuff like, I don't care how much investment you require, I don't care if it's unfree to play friendly, I'll take more content over no content, which I kinda understand that mindset for sure. However, I'm just really not a fan of another endgame mode, but with 4 teams this time. It just sounds so disgustingly expensive, right? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all have a great night, and peace out.